There's a strange moment that happens to you, and you don't even realize when it began. You're still laughing. You're still talking to people. You're still living your life. But something feels off. It's like there's a distance now between you and your own experiences. You don't just feel things anymore. You watch yourself feel them. You analyze your words before you speak. You question your emotions while you're having them. You replay moments instead of simply living them. And slowly, without noticing, life stops feeling simple. It becomes something you have to understand first, before you allow yourself to feel it. And that's where everything changes. There was a version of you once who didn't need to think this much. You laughed without checking if it sounded right. You trusted without calculating the risk. You enjoyed moments without wondering how long they would last. You didn't try to control everything. You just existed in it. And maybe you look back at that version now and think, I was naive. But what if that wasn't weakness? What if that was freedom? Because now you've become careful, too careful. You don't just experience emotions anymore. You measure them. You don't just connect with people. You analyze their intentions. You don't just take risks. You run simulations in your head until the moment passes. And the worst part is, you think this makes you wiser. But sometimes, it just makes you tired. There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from doing too much, but from thinking too much, from constantly being aware, from always trying to understand everything, from never allowing a moment to just be without dissecting it. And the irony is, the more you try to understand life, the less you actually feel it. You start noticing it in small things. You're with people, but part of you is outside the moment. You're laughing, but something in you is observing the laugh. You're happy, but there's a voice asking, why am I happy right now? And that question alone takes you out of it. Not everything in life is meant to be understood. Some things are meant to be experienced, felt fully, without interruption. But when you overthink everything, you interrupt your own life. And maybe this didn't happen all at once. Maybe it was slow. Maybe life taught you to be this way. Maybe you trusted someone and it backfired. Maybe you made a mistake and it stayed with you. Maybe you learned that being careful protects you, so you started thinking more, analyzing more, controlling more, until one day you realized you can't stop. Because now it's not just a habit, it's how you exist. But here's something you don't hear often. You don't need to understand everything to live it. You don't need to predict every outcome to take a step. You don't need to analyze every emotion to feel it honestly. And you definitely don't need to control every moment to enjoy it. There's a different kind of intelligence. One that doesn't come from thinking more, but from knowing when to stop thinking, from allowing things to be unclear, from letting moments pass without trying to capture or define them, from trusting, even when you don't have all the answers. Because life isn't a problem to solve. It's something you move through. And when you treat every moment like something to decode, you lose the ability to simply be in it. Maybe that's why things feel heavier now. Not because life became more complicated, but because you stopped letting it be simple. And no, this doesn't mean you go back to being careless. It doesn't mean you ignore reality. It just means you stop turning every moment into a question. Sometimes you can just laugh without thinking why. Sometimes you can just trust without calculating the outcome. Sometimes you can just feel something without needing to explain it. And maybe that's what you've been missing. Not knowledge, not awareness, but that small, quiet part of you that didn't need everything to make sense. Because in the end, not everything needs to be understood. Some things just need to be felt.